the rent law that you quoted, 1963 at 220, actually mandate rent control to be up and doing and be doing certain things. Sometimes I don't want to blame them because they are ill-resourced. Wherever I have been, whichever platform I have been with Mr. Kosu, I have used one word and I will still maintain it. That the rent control is a toothless bulldog. Yeah, they cannot bite, and they cannot bite and bite well.
Why do you say so?
Yes, you have been given some power, some mandates, and you have some power behind you. Do you know that rent control has been relegated to settling certain kind of disputes, right? Disputes.
Normal disputes.
Yes.
Amounts.
Because we have huge task on them. First of all, you know, maybe many people don't know, landlords don't have any right whatsoever to sit down and charge anything that they want to charge. 2, it is also illegal, as you rightly mentioned. You cannot take rent advance. You cannot rent advance exceeding 6 months.
Yeah, they take 5 years.
Section 25, subsection 5 stipulate clearly, and rent control is supposed to do something about it. 2, rent control is not able to grab the whip, and these landlords are taking advantage. I don't know whether it's a loophole, or say the loophole in the law, and the landlords are taking advantage of it, but they do it with impunity, and nothing catches up with them. You see, when you are given powers or mandates to bite, you must bite and bite well. If you go to rent control today, as I speak with you now, the reason why I say I won't blame them in a way would be their resources. Because today, rent control, if you have an issue that you go to rent control, their ability to do their work majestically and to bring justice is not there.
Because of the resources you're mentioning.
And that's one. 2, rent control, from our angle, look at the relationship between settling dispute between landlord and tenant. The landlord sometimes have the leeway.
The rent control is favoring the landlord.
I wouldn't say they favor them, but they don't.
If they have their way, then obviously it's the rent control that is not able to put them where they belong. So it means they're just giving them the freedom.
So for what we are saying as tenant union, anytime that we meet them or we've been going there, is that we want to help them to promote their activities, but they need to be up and doing. He made mention of rent assistance scheme, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them. I'll blame this government.
Why?
I hope you are aware of the rent assistance scheme. Did you hear it?
Yes.
In their manifesto, MP's manifesto.
Yeah.
That they're going to give 100 million Ghana cities to give rent, whatever.
Exactly what he's.
So which year are we now?
Well.
I don't normally blame them because they are serving their masters.
That's what it is?
Yes, of course. Because Mr. Kosu here knows that nothing is happening.
It's not possible.
Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Now, do you know that a landlord must even give you what you call the rent card? I don't know whether you are aware. Do you know rent card?
I'm aware. I mean, my late dad had a rent card that I saw from.
And if people are not doing what is right, they must be dealt with. Do you know that if a landlord even want to rent the premises out, he must even have some certificate?
They don't have that?
They have to register their tenancy. Are you aware?
They don't have that?
Do they have it? Do they do it? Do they impress on them? Because if a landlord brings an issue to you and they have not done what is right, you must not even entertain them. True or false?
True.
You have breached the rules. But if they are up and doing and they are putting and ensuring that the mandate they give them, really they are acting on it. I use the word toothless because they think they have a teeth, but they have been relegated to do something that's very shallow. And that is making tenants in this country suffer and suffer and suffer in the hands of, landlords. Inducing tenants to evict, inducing tenants to what? To quit. And what have you? So many things that rent control to us. The existence of, I've called it for it to be scrapped.
Wow.
Honestly.
I'm sure you'd want to respond to this.
Yeah. I don't want to argue with Mr. Opoku. He should find out the current situation of all the issues he has raised.
Mentioned.
Okay. He mentioned specifically that nothing is happening in the National Rental Assistance Scheme. I'm assuring him very soon.
Okay. Yeah. Are we still going back to
the issue is that I don't want to put out certain things on here.
No, let him. I'll come back to Mr. Lowe. Let him finish.
Okay. A project management committee is currently functioning to make sure it roll out this rental assistance. So that's why it should get a current situation of all the issues he has raised. If you bring the case to rent control and the tenant is evicted for you, can you call that department a bulldog? What mention? Yeah, can you do that? He came to the office assisting a tenant. A determination has been made. And you call that department.
When you say determination has been made, was it to resolution?
Yeah, to
or
a
there was
resolution.
An attempt to help?
A resolution. Just the statistics to battle my point. For the past 3 years, 2016 to now, the total number of cases we've gotten at our office is over 210 plus thousand
landlord-tenant issues.
We've been able to settle over 83% of that. And you call that department a toothless.
But you mentioned that you are good at settling disputes.
Of course, you understand.
But how does that contribute to the bigger picture?
The bigger picture is that since 1963, since 1986, when those laws we are using now were enacted into existence, you ask yourself, what kind of education has gone on since then? You know, implementation of the law, education is part. If people don't know what in the law, they will be finding it difficult.
But it's your responsibility to do that. How far have you advanced your responsibility in ensuring that people get to know all the things?
Let me just add that ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Absolutely, but you are also in the capacity to ensure people get to know what is in the law and what is not.
Of course.
So if you've not done enough when it comes to that,
and I admit that not us alone, but the National Civic, the NCCA, who is also mandated to make sure our laws are promulgated to the public. But just as is mentioned, I congratulate him for mentioning that we are resourced. Okay, we are finding all means to make sure that we implement our mandate. So the issue is that gradually we are getting there. Though the figure is so minimal, a lot of landlords have started taking monthly rent. Some have started taking the maximum of 6 months. There are those who are greedy. I have to mention this. There are a lot of landlords who are greedy. They put all their problems on their properties. And those are the people we are targeting to control them. Okay? Those are the issues. But we know we'll get there. But what I want to say again is that it's a collective responsibility. I have a responsibility as a rent officer. You as a landlord have a responsibility. A tenant has a responsibility. Let's put our hands on deck. Okay? Don't put your burdens on it. Because what you are doing to somebody in your premises now, when your child goes to a university somewhere and she doesn't get the school's hostel, he has to resort to a private hostel. And what you are doing to somebody, it will be done to your child as well. So, again, it's a collective responsibility. Rent control cannot do it alone. Together with the magistrate. Of course, if you have a situation and you cannot come to the rent control, you can go to the magistrate. Can we say that the magistrates are also not doing their work? So, let's all put our hands on deck.